Good morning. It is Monday, October 28th. And so you know what that means, y'all. We are talking about Proverbs chapter 28 today. Let's get into it. If you are interested in any of the resources used in today's video, check the description box because I got you, baby. That's what we do. And be sure to comment the verses that stood out to you, and I'm going to tell you the ones that stood out to me. No, I know we are all sad to see this challenge ending on the 31st of October. But listen, I am so proud of each and every one of us. 28 days, 28 days of commitment to reading a chapter of God's wisdom every single day of October. That is beautiful, and you should be so proud of yourself. While this challenge is almost over, let me tell you the next thing that I personally am going to be working on. So if you want to join into it, you're more than welcome. You may have seen my video a little while ago, but this book right here, Bible in 52 Weeks, I had been eyeballing this book for the longest, and I finally decided to cop it. And I finally decided to do it starting on November 1st. Now, I do want to give you some information about this one, so hang tight. I will not be linking this Bible in this Bible study video. Main reason, because I don't want this video to be monetized in that way. Like, I don't want that. I want these to stay specifically Proverbs, challenge videos. But in my very next video, I will link this. So if you're interested in joining, you're more than welcome to. But this book will allow us to learn the Bible in 52 weeks. I'm really interested to see how this challenge goes. And I don't know if I'm going to post a video every single day about this challenge here or periodically. I don't know yet. I'm just going to allow God to lead me. And where God leads me is where he leads me. But if you are interested in this book, check my next video. I will link it. But let's get into the Proverbs challenge now. Proverbs chapter 28. Keep in mind the men of Hezekiah are still gathering the thoughts from Solomon and collecting them into these chapters. They will be doing chapter 28 and chapter 29 of Solomon's thoughts, approximately 270 years after Solomon passed. For this chapter, I didn't highlight much, but let's get into it. The first one that stood out to me was literally verse 1, where it says, "The wicked flee when no one pursues, but the righteous are bold as a lion." Y'all know I love my women's study Bible, so let me tell you what it talked about in terms of boldness and how it relates to being a woman of God. It says, boldness should not be equated with obnoxious or aggressive personalities. It is a gift to be sought by every believer. We ask and receive boldness from God, looking at Acts chapter 4, verses 29 through 31. New Testament boldness is not found in safe and secure places, but rather where God's word needs to be the cutting edge, to penetrate the hearts and minds of individuals to whom we relate. Let me put that in my thoughts. My thoughts personally is, baby, the confidence that you get from learning God's word and from walking with your Father is crazy. It is crazy. The level of confidence that I get from knowing and having a real relationship with God, talking to God, speaking to God, allowing God to speak back to me, listening to him when he speaks, game changer. Game changer. So it makes you bold. When you are following your Father and you're listening to his instructions and you're not leaning on yourself, but you're leaning on him, whole new level of you unlocked. You hear me? Verse number 9 says, "One who turns away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer is an abomination." Let me tell you what the Cliff Notes of the Women's Study Bible said. It said, "Those who do not listen to God cannot expect God to listen to them." Turns away his ear indicates the decision to turn from the path of wisdom. The activities of such person, even his prayers, are an abomination to God. It reminds me of the importance to not only talk to your Father, but to listen to what he says. Because just imagine, think about it. You may have a friend who always comes to you and asks you for advice, but then every time they ask you for advice, you give them advice and they don't ever take your advice. Girl, what you asking me for advice for at this point? Because what? You know what I'm saying? It becomes very, very frustrating. And I can only understand how our Father would feel if every time we come to him with our problems and he tells us what he needs us to do, and we just keep not listening. Listen to your Father. But not least, verse 26. "He who trusts in his own heart is a fool, but whoever walks wisely will be delivered." Reminds me of that saying that we've probably heard our entire life where people say, follow your heart. The Bible talks about how the heart is deceitful. The heart will lead us into places that God would never have sent us. The heart is deceitful. And people who actually trust in their heart, the Bible's reminder, it's a fool's decision. It's a fool's decision because my heart wants to do a lot of things that God doesn't want me to do. If we were being honest and transparent, we could probably all name at least 5 things that our heart told us to do that God never said was okay. The Bible does say that God grants us the desires of our heart, right? Doesn't it say that? I have to look up the specific verse, but it is Psalm 37 verse 4. Delight yourself in the Lord and he will give you the desires of your heart. Telling God what we desire, telling God what our heart desires will allow him to give us what our heart desires, but in a godly way. Because if you go after what your heart desires without incorporating God into that, you're going to end up in spaces and places and with people that you should never be with. And for me to allow God into my decision making, because I don't want to trust my own heart. I want to give my heart to God. We fully commit our bodies and our minds and our spirits and everything to God. I want to give that to him so that he can grant the desires of my heart. Because if I go after what I think I want, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to end up with a 6'8" dreadhead. You heard me? He gonna be wearing a Nike sweatsuit every day in the winter. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna be a healthy thing for me. If I give my desires to God on what I want and what I desire, and I give that to him, he's going to give me tenfold of what I think I want. He's going to give me everything that's going to allow me to not only glorify him, but bless other people, show other people the glory of God. Walk with him, talk with him, be with my Father. It's going to be so much more powerful, insightful. It's going to allow me to walk into fellowship, walk in discipleship. It's going to allow me to be a better daughter to my Father. It's going to allow me to be a better person for the people around me. It's going to allow me to be so much better if I do not rely on what my heart wants, but what my heart in God's hands desires. Does that make sense? Well, this is what I got from chapter 28, but let me know in the comments what you got, and I will see you tomorrow for chapter 29. Bye.